The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Frank Reich is gushing about Jets quarterback Geno Smith. Could the two of them actually put together a big-time season for the Jets? We'll break down the latest. Paul Fiore is going to join me. Happy Father's Day. Let's hit it and get it started.
We sitting in here, we excited as hell.
Now it's time to get to work. Are you a happy guy?
Oh my goodness, let's go!
I haven't felt joy talking about the Jets in a long time. When they announced it, I went, yeah! Jets, let's go! A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday with us. A lot to talk about with the Jets as they wrapped up minicamp, and Frank Reich spoke to the media the other day and had some interesting things to say about Geno Smith and the offense. Before we bring on today's guest, I want to remind everyone that we made a huge announcement a few days ago. Wayne Krebet is coming to Gang Green Beach Club on July 11th. He is our esteemed guest of honor. Go to ganggreenbeachclub.com. If you want to meet Wayne Krebet, take a picture with him, hang out with him, myself, and some of your favorite Jets personalities, beat reporters, super fans, YouTubers, all in one spot on July 11th at HQ2 in Atlantic City. With that, we say hello right now to one of my favorite guests. You can check out his YouTube channel, which is linked in the description. Paul Fiore joins us now. Jets Talk Now is the name of the channel. Paul, welcome back to the show. Happy Father's Day.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there.
State of the Jets, Paul. I know you and I have been in Nick mode. I'm rocking my Nick shirt and hat right now, but we got a football season that eventually will be upon us. How do you feel as a diehard Jet fan about the state of the Jets following minicamp?
Oh man, it was the Jets, you know, it was a positive mini camp that kind of was a continuation of, you know, I think the free agency period and the draft. I mean, like the Jets have been operating in a way, at least to this point, and it's off season. We always win the off season, but you know, you have to be semi-optimistic right now. I think that they're, at least from a blueprint of what they're trying to do, there looks like there's an actual plan to build this team over, you know, the next couple of years.
I agree. And it's so tough to go from like the Knicks talk and like all the excitement with that to then like, all right, can Jamie and Sherwood have a bounce back season? You know, like it's just hard right now, but the football is my number one. It's my favorite sport. And I'm just hoping the Jets can at least give us a season that's not over after a couple games where we just know they're going nowhere. Like, can you be fake good for part of the year just to give us something to get excited about?
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at their schedule for the first 8 games, and I think we talked about this before, I mean, look, they have a reasonable, the beginning, you know, I think they have a reasonable shot at being, you know, 4-4, 3-5, if Geno is 75-80% of what he was in Seattle and not closer to the version of what he was with the Raiders. I think that's going to be a big part of this. I mean, they have talent offensively to, if he can get them the ball and not have crazy turnovers like he did last year. And I guess part, you know, if you look at his last 2 years with Seattle for the last year and, you know, obviously with the Raiders this past year, I think 3-5, 4-4 is a fair thing that we should be expecting as a fan base. No one should be, look, we're not sitting here going they should be 5-3 or 6-2, right? It's like we're all trying to be realistic. I mean, for the most part, I think people are being pretty genuinely fair right now about what the expectation should be for this team going into 2026.
I think it's well said. By the way, for those tuning in live, at the end of our stream today, as promised, will be the weekly Asmaniac raffle. So we have the following 5 items that I'm going to be giving away to listeners at the end of today's show. Garrett Wilson signed helmet, Joe Flacco signed helmet, Darrell Rivas signed end zone pylon, 2 tickets to our event in Atlantic City, Gangrene Beach Club, and a Jalen Brunson NBA Finals patch jersey. So 5 prizes up for grabs. If you enter the raffle during this show, you will qualify for raffle 78. That's this one. And then next week's raffle 79. I can already reveal that one of the prizes in that raffle is a Wayne Corbett signed jersey. So we'll have other prizes too. But if you want to get a head start, take advantage of the 2-for-1 Father's Day special. You certainly can during today's show. Paul, I want to play you some sound from Frank Reich the other day because I don't know if Frank Reich is still going to be an elite offensive coordinator, but I do know this. He's confident up there at the podium. He's a professional adult in the room figure for this Jet offense. And this was Reich being asked on his assessment on Geno Smith so far through minicamp.
I mean, it's hard for me right now to not be overly, what's the right word, effusive with praise, you know what I mean? But I am just so impressed by Geno. I cannot express that enough. I know we haven't played any games yet. We got a long way to go. We got a lot to prove. And everybody's got a lot to prove. But man, he is on point. His preparation is top notch. His football mind is elite. I mean, the way he's communicating in the huddle at the line of scrimmage, the way he communicates in the quarterback room. I've been around a lot of really smart and good quarterbacks. I mean, he is. All I'm going to say is we're in good shape. We're in good shape. We got a lot to prove. He's got a lot to prove. I do. We all do. We understand that. We understand what world we live in. But it's been good so far.
Did you know him at all before this?
Not at all. Not at all. I think one time I met him just like in a brief passing, but no, he's an impressive. I don't want to say young man. I mean, relatively yes, but not so young in this league. But he's an impressive person. I always say that it factor is the combination of a lot of confidence, but also genuine humility, and he's got both of those. So the things that he's been through in life and in football, I think have put him at a position to put his best foot forward in this next stage of his career.
I mean, Paul, that is effusive praise right there from a guy who's been around some really good quarterbacks. Are you buying into the Frank Reich Geno experience here? What can we expect from those guys working together in 2026?
I mean, I think 2 things can be true, right? Like what's going on right now in the preseason and mini camp and how he is in the room can be elite. He can be preparing amazing and he's got a great football mind and all of those things. And it's mini camp, so, you know, you don't really see true football right now. So all those things could be true, which is why he played so well in Seattle, right? I mean, he had a career revival when he was with Seattle. But what also could be true, and we don't know until we actually see real football. I don't think he's going to play much in the preseason. But he's a guy that's going to be almost 37. He's going to be 37 years old. He's coming off of a bad season. And his last season in Seattle, they showed there was some degradation in his play. That what happens when he's got pressure and what happens with his decision making, and you know, has there been a drop off? So he could be an elite. Look, everyone's like Aaron Rodgers, still an elite mind, right? Like he still can process and he still sees what he sees, but his reaction time is slower. His willingness to take hits is less. He throws the ball downfield less, right? So like you can see all of those things were still true about Rodgers, but he was a different quarterback. So I just don't know what kind of Geno we're going to get. And so if we're banking on Geno going back in time and having the seasons he had in Seattle when he was at his best, I think we'd be looking at it from a a false sense of security. If we're hoping he's better than he was with the Raiders, and maybe like I said, 75% of what he was in Seattle, I think that they can be I think that's what they're hoping for. Like, if I'm being honest, I don't think anyone's delusional within the organization thinking they're getting Geno who's going to suddenly make them a 10-win football team. I think they're hoping that Geno gives them a third year so they can get their quarterback, and he's the bridge. And that would mean they need to probably win 7 games. And I think that's what we're hoping for. That's my guess.
By the way, Geno Smith, 35 right now, turns 36 in October. 36. You're aging him out of the league, Paul, saying he's 37 years old.
Sorry. He's kind of a, he had a really rough year last year. Now, it's not only his fault. They were terrible. But he had a rough year last year. And I think he had 2 really, really good years in Seattle, but in the entirety of his career, he's had 2 really, really good years. So I didn't want Geno. He's impressed me with how he's been at the podium. Obviously, Frank Reich's had a lot of great things to say. I like that. I'm not sold that all of a sudden I'm getting Geno Smith, 4,000 yards, 30 plus touchdowns, Geno Smith. I'm not there.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Father's Day on the Jake Asman Show. No better place to be, they say. End of the show. Raffle for 5 items, including a Garrett Wilson signed helmet and a Klecko signed helmet. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in as Paul and I talk all things New York Jets. Let me shout out Mike Doramo, who was the first to put forth a 5 spot today. He is in the Asmaniac raffle for 5. Let's go.
Ouch. Hey, hit my teeth. Oh, well.
Jersey Jet is in the Asmaniac raffle. He sent in a gifted membership, means he is in the raffle for 1. Excellent job, Jersey Jet.
Good job.
Super chat from Colin, who says happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Colin in our raffle at the end of the show for 4. Cashmere Black with a super chat. Jets have the talent. It all comes down to the coaching and the quarterback play. And, of course, injuries. That's going to determine our fate this season. I still think we need linebacker depth. I was out to dinner last night with some friends of mine who are Jet fans, and we were going through the roster, and we're like, this is not that bad of a roster. There's players here. Offensive line is intact. Number 1 receiver, number 1 running back, some nice complementary weapons to play next to Garrett Wilson. The defense added the number 2 pick in the draft, Minka, Demario Davis. There's good players on this team. I agree with the super chat. I think it comes down to Glenn and Geno. That's it. I don't want to, make it as basic as that, because football is very complex, as we know. But a lot of times it's also not. It's coach and quarterback. And I think Geno is capable of being competent. It just goes back to my thoughts on Aaron Glenn. I have major reservations about the guy as a head coach.
Yeah, look, it could be a genius move to bring Frank Reich in. It could turn out to be that way, right? Reich essentially running the offense, and AG not having to worry at all about anything going on that side of the football allows him to just focus on the defense. And essentially, if Reich is, still got it, and, and Geno is, like I said, 75% he was in Seattle, yes, they have enough talent offensively to be at least competent. And if you're at least competent, I really think, it's just my opinion, I think Woody really wants Glenn to succeed. So I think his rope is going to be more than most of us probably think it should be, just because AG was Woody's guy. Woody made the pick, right? So it's I think he's just got this mindset that he's gonna do everything he can to try to get AG through year 2 into year 3. So if Frank Reich is good, then they will find a way to minimize Geno's mistakes, give them a competent offense, and again, I think they could win. I think they could win 7 games. I think their ceiling is 7. I don't see it beyond that, but that's just my, I think they're a 7 ceiling win team. If Geno's terrible, then I think, they could be a a 4 or 5 win team.
Wouldn't they be better being either good or terrible? Like, you hate to say it, but like if you're gonna be just like 6 or 7 wins, like does that do anything for the long-term future of the Jets, in your opinion?
Well, look, to think a 3-win team is going to suddenly become an 8 or 9-win team when you're coming as far back from where they were, I think it's hard to just kind of think will happen. So I'm more on the line of give me 7 wins, show me competency, be entertaining, and I'm going to root like hell for Indy to be awful, right? Like that's kind of where my brain is right now.
I like the thought process. I wonder if the Jets could actually get some favorable luck where they're having this fun season and we get the best of both worlds with the Colts stinking. Do you think the Colts are going to be bad? Like, what are your expectations for them?
I think the Colts are going to be really bad. I think their schedule is tough. I don't see where the Colts are a good football team. Like Daniel Jones is coming off of a really bad injury, and really he played an elite level football 9-game, 10-game stretch last year. What is it? 9 games, I think he was last year before he went down.
That sounds right.
Before that, he was a scrap heap quarterback. And now all of a sudden we're going to expect he comes off of a devastating injury and he's going to be elite again. The Colts are in a tough division. They've got a really tough schedule. And I don't think they improved dramatically. And who's their backup quarterback? I mean, I think the Colts are going to be bad this year.
Imagine they stink, top 5 pick, and the Jets, let's say they are bad as well, and you have 2 picks in the top 5. You get your quarterback with 1 and another stud in this historic draft with the other. What that would do for the team?
Yeah, I mean, I know we were going to talk about, or you can go get Sorsby in the supplemental draft. I don't think they're going to do it, but you could.
Let's get into Sorsby now. You're one of the few I see on social media fighting the good fight. You're interested in Sorsby. Your thoughts on why you think the Jets should potentially submit a bid in the supplemental draft for the Texas Tech QB?
So I think it's interesting because there's a lot there, and I'm not like just saying without a doubt they should do it. My perspective on it is you have to trust your process and your evaluation of the talent. And so we know, I think somebody on your show, I forgot who said that they already did some work on Sorsby previous to this all thing blowing up when they were there with during Texas Tech's Pro Day.
Yep.
If you look at Sorsby, he's 6'3", 6'3.5". He's got good athleticism. He could improve a bit on his accuracy, but to me, I comp him to like a Jackson Dart type QB with that type of athleticism and a better arm, right? Now, yeah, he was gambling and all that stuff. And so you got to take that all in. That's why he's even going to be available. But I've seen some things on him that I think are unfair. People are like, well, if he was a first-round talent or QB, why didn't he come out this year? Well, he got paid $5+ million to go to Texas Tech. Dante Moore didn't come out this year. He stayed in. He was guaranteed to be the second quarterback taken. There's a lot of reasons why these guys stay in these days than coming out. So I don't view that as well, he's not a first-round talent because he didn't come out last year. I think he has first-round traits. I think he's got a lot of good overall football ability. I like I said, I liken him to like a Dart type talent. The gambling thing, I think what I saw was his freshman year at Indiana, he bet on his own team to win. But I think that's the only thing we know about when it comes to football. I haven't heard that he was betting on his team while he was playing last year. And again, I get that this is a slippery slope. I just feel like you got to do your background. If you feel like he's rehabilitated himself, there's guys in this league that have done 1,000 times worse stuff. The Jets have brought guys in the past who've done worse. And if you can get him for a 3rd-round pick, I I think if he checks out, I would do it. The Jets' history on third round pick. I posted this last week. Look back the last decade on the Jets' third round picks. Like, and you tell me he's not worth a swing in the third round? Like, who have we drafted in the third round in the last 10 years that has had an impact on this football team? I mean,
definitely not Malachi Corley or Ja'Kai Polite.
Ja'Kai Polite. I mean, Jabari Zuniga. I mean, like, I went through it. Maybe AZ Thomas becomes good. Jeremy Ruckert's a tight end 3. Ashton Davis, Nate Shepard, or Darius Stewart. I mean, like, this is the list.
This is why the Jets suck, by the way. That list right there.
Yeah, so like when you say, well, I wouldn't do it, like, and there's some people that are just hell bent on it, and I'm like, why? Like, I'm not saying you should, but if you did your homework and you bring him into your building and you feel like, okay, this guy could potentially be the answer. Now, this caveat comes with you need the league to let you know before the supplemental draft, is this guy getting suspended for the year? Because if he is, that's a whole different conversation, right? But I think you need to have that clarity before the supplemental draft. So I know the pro day is the 10th. I think before the supplemental draft, the league's going to have to give you some guidance on what's going to happen with him.
It's just going to be fascinating to see if it's not the Jets, what team actually puts forward a bid and what he goes for. Because there's so much unknown with this situation. He's one gambling incident away from never playing football again because the NFL doesn't mess around. There's a zero tolerance policy. So, like, people are like, oh, did you use a second round pick? Make sure you get him. Well, you can't just light a second round pick on fire. And I also want to know, all right, does the kid's personality fit New York? Can he handle it? The first interception he throws, people are going to be making jokes and all the memes about, oh, does he have money on the other team? It's different playing quarterback for the Jets than I think it is in other markets. And fair or unfair, the Jets need to consider that in their evaluation on whether or not he'd be worth it.
I think that's true. And the one thing that I was saying this the other day, I don't know if you've seen anything. I haven't seen him be interviewed since this whole thing like blew up, right? Like I haven't heard him speak. I've only seen like statements come out. I would like to see the kid kind of address it like in front of the media and have a conference because we haven't seen that. And so you're right. Like the New York thing's a real issue. But again, I'm focused on the football talent and what the potential upside might be. And I wouldn't light a second round pick on fire. I like today I wouldn't. But I don't think it's going to be a second round pick. I think it'll be a third round pick most likely. Now, if he's unbelievable and it's just a pro day and we all know what that means. But I saw something on McAfee. I think all 32 teams are likely going to attend this kid's pro day. It's 5 minutes from my house where his pro day is going to be, which is pretty funny.
Well, hold on a second. Can we get you to attend the pro day, Paul, and you'll be our correspondent for the Jake Asman show reporting on Sorsby?
There you go.
If I didn't pay you, we'll get you. We'll get you a byline on the show. You know, Brendan Sorsby correspondent Paul Fiore joins us. I mean, we'll do it up big.
It would be something, right? Yeah, I couldn't believe when I saw he was going to be at the South Lake Carroll for his pro day. I was like, really? I mean, our football program here in Texas and South Lake is kind of insane, but like I just thought that was interesting. You should see this high school football stadium here. It's unbelievable. Like it's crazy.
Is he from that area? Is that why he's doing it there?
I mean, I know, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming there must be some connection there. There's got to be. I don't know if he's from here. We should probably look that up, but he didn't play high school here. I don't know.
Fascinating. Well, what I want to do is play a clip from my recent Jets Collective episode with Brandon Tierney and Rich Cimini because they are on the total opposite ends of this Brendan Sorsby conversation. For those who haven't seen it yet, here's a clip from our recent show. I'll play it, and then Paul and I will react. We'll read your comments on it on the other side. Plus, reminder, if you just joined us, happy Father's Day. End of the show. Raffle for 5 items today. Brunson Finals jersey, Gang Green Beach Club tickets, Darrell Revis end zone pylon, Joe Klecko signed helmet, and a Garrett Wilson signed helmet, all up for grabs at the end of the show. Make sure you enter the raffle for your chance to win, and you'll qualify for next week's raffle as well. It's 2 for the price of 1. Little Father's Day special for all the dads out there. Again, here is the clip talking Sorsby from the Jets Collective. We'll play it and then get Paul's reaction on the other side.
I believe every team's going to be at his pro day. Not a single team is not going to go. It's going to be attended by every single team, number one. Number two, you need a quarterback. The way to get the quarterback is to stack the deck and position the odds as favorably as you possibly can. I know that I simplified this a little bit. I do. I don't know if he's going to be suspended. I don't know if he is suspended, for how long. I don't know if he's going to be a first-round pick or would have been if he stayed in college. But I know that he's in the conversation. And I also know, and this is what's really appealing to me, right? Let's say the Jets take a swing, and I believe that they will put a blind bid in. Put me on the record. And if they don't, I think it's irresponsible and a bad – I'm not saying a first-round pick. But if Moochie doesn't put a bid in, that's a missed opportunity. If the Jets get him, there's a lot of ifs here, but if the Jets get him and he winds up being the guy or potentially the guy, think about how that reshapes the 2027 draft, where instead of having to take 2 first-round picks to maybe move up to get the guy that you want, maybe you actually get the guy a year early. You get a lockdown corner, a linebacker who runs like the wind and hits like a train, and one more O-lineman. I mean, there are so many possibilities here. Now, I might be overstating it. He's not nearly as good as I think he is. I think he's good. I think he's got a lot of talent. I also believe it's a bunch of nonsense that the NFL cares about gambling. Please, the gambling is fueling the NFL. Let's not be convenient. It's such a double standard. He's 19 or 20 when he made this mistake. Did we really think that young, impressionable minds weren't going to get caught up in gambling when it's everywhere you look, every website, every stadium, every commercial? Give me a break. So let the kid figure it out. I'm going to trust that he's not beyond rehabilitation from a character point of view. And if I'm the Jets, I'm going all in on Sorsby. I'm in.
So is that a second-round pick? Because
Yes.
I think there's levels
Yes.
to it. Without knowing the person and how he could handle being the quarterback in New York and the first incompletion, people are going to be making jokes. Oh, did he bet on the other team? Like, how can he handle all that? Without knowing any of that, I just think it's a difficult conversation. I just want to know how much you want to actually put forth, because if you're the Jets and you were awful last year, if you get you put in a second, you probably get the player, I'd imagine.
I agree with that, and that's what I want. Like, listen, guys, if you're going to do this dance, right? So to me, they're like, I'm not going to half-step this, right? I'm not going to say, well, he's good. Maybe he could be. He's a 4th-round pick. You're not getting him for a 4th-round pick. I don't think you get him for a 3rd-round pick. Now, a 1st-round pick is reckless. I would definitely not do that, obviously. But from a 2nd-round perspective, if the Jets didn't have a left tackle or a right tackle or a wide receiver number 1 or potentially a tight end number 1, like, they've got enough there where you can justify taking the swing. There's not a complete dearth of talent. And you get it for a team that's always looking for a quarterback. This is a potential layup. It's screaming, take a swing. And to not do it, I will be stunned and utterly disappointed if they don't. I almost want to make a guarantee. I guarantee I'm going to, that the Jets are going to put a bid in. I have no doubt about that. And I guarantee it's at least a 3rd-rounder and possibly, and I'm not a reporter, but this is common sense. They're going for it. If they
A name it
that's a different
guarantee.
story.
I wouldn't guarantee that.
Why? Why not?
Because I don't think, I'm not so sure that's the case.
Well, I understand that, but Rich, do they
You're
need
saying
a quarter?
You guarantee that they're going to put a 3rd-round bid or higher
Yes.
on Sorsby, and I'm saying I personally would not make that guarantee because I'm not sure they will.
Okay.
I just love that BT goes on this fiery rant, and then Rich is like, yeah, I don't think they're going to do that.
You know, it's funny. And I watched Jets Collective, and I think it was a few weeks earlier that BT was like, no, they should not take Sorsby. So he's flipped a bit. I think he was claiming he was 6'1" or so previously, and now he's kind of like on the Sorsby train. So it's just BT, right? So like he gets very convicted in how he feels in some stuff. He gets so like, I think I agree with you. There's levels to this. What I don't know is, look, we don't know when they meet with this kid. What's the level of humility? What's the level of realizing he really screwed this up and he's been rehabilitated? what is truly there. Like we can sit here as fans and we can say, no, it's this, it's that. And, like we were all negative on Klubnik. I mean, the vast majority of this fan base, including myself, I gave the Jets a D for the draft on Klubnik, not the whole draft, but when they drafted Klubnik, he has 2 press conferences and everyone's falling all over themselves over the kid. Right. And so like, it just goes to show you how we as fans kind of react in the moment. And so like in the moment, there's this strong opinion one way or the other on Sorsby. Because we're not in those conversations, I don't have a strong opinion. My strong opinion is if the Jets feel like they've checked him out and they're good with him and they like the talent. I personally like the talent I don't know what's inside the character of the player. I think the talent is worth a 3rd round swing when I already went through for you, the previous history of the last 10 years of draft picks in the 3rd round for the Jets. I don't think that is detrimental to their ability to get a quarterback in 2027. So yes, gambling's an issue. Yes, all of these things that everybody's bringing up in the chat are fair. But I disagree when people say they don't think he's that talented. From a pure talent standpoint, I actually really like his talent. I was pounding the table for Dart. Like I wanted Dart badly when he was available. I think this kid is sort of very similar with a better arm. And his athleticism is really good. If you get lucky enough to get him in the 3rd round and because he checks all the boxes and you can figure out whether he can be the guy, then yeah, your draft picks in 2027, it could be transformative for the franchise. It's a risk. And I wouldn't do it if he's getting suspended for the year, but I actually don't think he's going to get suspended for the year. I think it might be 2 games. My guess is they're going to do something similar to what they were going to do in the NCAA. It'll be a 2-game suspension.
I think the big question I have is, one, do the Jets actually like him? Right? It's one thing to be like, yeah, we like him, but do you love him? My other question is, can he handle the scrutiny of playing in New York? And then from like a specific Darren Muji, Aaron Glenn lens, they don't need to take this swing now. Darren Muji has positioned the organization to be set up for 2027. Like Woody's not like, we need a quarterback, I need you to do it now. There's no ownership pressure, I don't think, to make a wild swing at that position. They sold Woody on a plan that he bought on 2027 being the year they take the swing on the quarterback. They have built up the roster, signing Tippmann, Breeze, the draft, everything they've done to put themselves in position where that quarterback in 27 is stepping into a spot where he actually has the infrastructure around him to succeed. They don't need to do this. So the only way you do this is if you love the guy. And do the Jets really love him? I don't know. I mean, I think they might like him. I know they've started doing their due diligence on him as they should when you have 3 first-round picks, and this is, a regime-defining decision. I just don't think they're going to do it. I think if they place a bid on him, maybe it's a 4th or a 5th-round pick, and they're like, if no one else does it, we'll get him. Great. If not, no harm, no foul.
Different conversation whether they would do it versus right. I agree with you. I don't think they're going to do it. Right. And I'm not saying I would do it. I'm saying I think his talent, and I saw Nick on here, Nick and I, we go back and forth a little bit. Nick doesn't think he checks the boxes from a physical skill ability. He's got work that he needs to do. His accuracy is not there fully at this point. But again, what quarterback comes out fully polished out of college? There's a reason why he was coming back for another year. My personal opinion on this is, again, I think he has the physical skill set to develop into a very good quarterback. My obvious concerns are the character issues. But I don't think it's a big swing on a 3rd-round draft pick. I just personally, I don't view that. Like, I agree with you. They've set themselves up for 2027, getting the QB then. But again, I have a hard time, man. Like, this league has guys that have done work. Like, I get it. It's gambling and all of that stuff. I fully understand the enormity of all of that. There are guys that have been arrested and committed crimes in this league that have gone on and continued to play in their careers. So I'm not going to the morality box check for me is a challenge in this. If they meet with this kid and feel like he is rehabilitated and they are willing to take the chance on him as a 3rd-round pick, I'm going to support that selection because I think the talent is there. That's my opinion. We'll see.
Guess what, Paul? Stand on your opinion, damn it. That's why we love you, and that's why we appreciate you coming on the show. Jet fans, I ask you, do you want the Jets to place a bid on Sorsby? I'm okay if they did it. I would not do anything more than a 4th-round pick. And I understand your point too, Paul. Well, look how many 3rd-round picks they lit on fire. I get that. But I might need that 3rd-round pick in a trade to go and get my quarterback next year, so I want to keep it. I'm very protective of day 2 picks in general, even though the Jets have had a brutal history in the 2nd round the last 25 years, 2nd and 3rd round for that matter. They seemingly have figured out the 2nd round a little bit, right? Mason Taylor we like, Breece Hall, Joe Tippmann each getting 2nd contracts with the organization. They've been better in the 2nd round of late. The 2nd round curse was a real thing for a very long time.
Well, especially for wide receivers, right? Just don't draft a 2nd round wide receiver. Did you see Denzel Mims got signed? I saw that.
I saw he's back, baby. Someone feed him some bad salmon. Nick Shine in the house. He's in the raffle for 2. Raffle at the end of the show, folks. Thanks for being here. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Fowler reports that the Jets are out on Sorsby. What a great gift today. Go Jets. Colts top 5 pick. All-time hate watching. Let me check in on this Fowler report to see if that's accurate or not. But again, I don't expect the Jets to be the team that's going to place a bid on Sorsby. The team I think that's going to go after Sorsby, Paul, is a team like the Steelers, the Packers, the Chiefs, the Ravens, teams that might say, hey, we're never going to be bad enough to get a top quarterback. Let's take a chance on a guy. He won't have to play. He could develop into a backup. Or the Vikings with Kevin O'Connell. Like a team that is not bad enough to be picking at the top of the draft, but has an infrastructure in place that could support the baggage, if you will, that will naturally come with Brendan Sorsby, at least initially.
Possible. I mean, any reporting on the Jets and what they are and aren't doing is a waste of time to me. Whether Fowler says it or not, I don't care who says it. We've already learned from everything the Jets do that they're just not talking. Muji doesn't talk. Glenn did a really good job at the podium when it was presented to him. He just basically chose to just ignore the question, which is the right thing to do, right? Didn't commit one way or the other. I would be shocked if the Jets are not there on the 10th. Like, I'd be shocked if they're not there. I think they will absolutely be there. I absolutely think they will meet with him. I do not personally think they will draft him. So I agree that they won't draft him. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't. I'm not saying I would, but I'm not saying again, I don't know the kid. I don't know him. And by the way, he's from Denton, so that makes sense. He's from Denton, Texas. It makes sense why he's doing his pro day in Southlake. It's like a 40-minute drive from here, so he probably has connections within the Southlake staff. But again, I think it's all about the diligence on the player, personally.
By the way, Nick Shine, Jeremy Fowler didn't report the Jets are out on Sorsby. Rich Cimini, in his notes column this morning, Rich actually wrote that according to a source close to the situation, the Jets, quote, don't want to deal with it. That's what Rich wrote this morning. One person close to the situation doubted the Jets' interest, suggesting, quote, they don't want to deal with it. Now, who could that source be that's close to the situation? It's not like Rich will tell us if we ask him, even though I work with him. He's going to protect his source. But I'd imagine that could be someone in the Jet front office. I'd imagine it could be one of Sorsby's agents that might have a relationship with Rich. It could be, I don't know, like, is Mike Tannenbaum considered a source close to the Jets after he helped pick Glenn? Like, it could be someone like that. I'd be surprised if the Jets ended up taking him, but that is the latest from Cimini's notes column there. Cashmere Black says, we fleeced the Colts with that Sauce trade, in my opinion. I think most Jet fans can agree on this. And so far, so good. We'll see what Sadiq turns out to be. I'm excited about A.D. Mitchell. Like, he was a throw-in. I don't know. Maybe it's because, the Nick energy is trying to give me some positivity for the Jets. But A.D. Mitchell, just like a throw-in into the deal. And every time you hear about a Jet training camp or mini camp or OTA practice and it's A.D. Mitchell making a great play, I'm excited to see what he could do. His skill set of being able to separate and go down the field and get open is perfect for a strong arm quarterback like Geno, who's not going to be afraid to throw it downfield to give AD chances to make plays.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually look at, if it all works out, never all works out, but if you just look at the way the Jets have stacked their weapons offensively, you've got Garrett and AD as guys like, you know, just think about what your point is, what AD can bring to the table. And then you've got Omar Cooper Jr. as a perfect guy that can go over the middle as a slot. Sadiq can kind of move all over the field. You know, then you got obviously Brees and the other, you know, and so like for me, it's like they've got, and Mason Taylor, they've got a ton of guys that are actually really like you could expect to be pretty good football players. If Geno is, like I said, if he's decent, you can't say that Geno doesn't have a lot more opportunity with this Jets team than he had with the Raiders last year. Their offensive line is 1,000 times better than what the Raiders gave him last year, right? Their weapons are better than the Raiders gave him last year. I mean, how many weeks was Bowers out? You know, so it's like I actually feel like it's so weird. The optimistic side of me is like, yeah, this offense could actually be pretty good. But like I've been worn down over the years of feeling like there's something there. I will tell you this: the 2 years with Rodgers took a lot out of me on my optimism side. Like it really did.
Me too, man.
I mean,
me too. I used to be positive. Now everyone's like, "You're so negative, Jake." It's like you clearly just started watching my show a year ago.
I mean, my goodness. I just 2 years ago, I like watching what happened with them and what my expectation was when they got Rodgers, one of my favorite players of all time at the quarterback position. Having that all go down over those 2 years just wore me down to the point where I'm like, I'm going to stop being this guy that goes through the schedule every single season and finds a way to 10 wins. I can't do that anymore. And it almost became like the way I was with the Knicks. And then the Knicks got it right with Leon Rose, and they brought in Tibbs, who, for all his flaws as a guy that maybe can't win the championship, brought a level of respectability and competency to the team as playing an organized, structured game, and they became relevant, right? You hope that's what the Jets are somewhat doing, and maybe Frank Reich is the guy on the offensive side that can be like a Tibbs, seasoned pro, kind of knows what to do. The question is AG going to be a good head coach or not? Last year did not give me any warm and fuzzies, but I'm willing to say, look, it's year 2. Hopefully he'll learn from his mistakes. And again, I've been cautiously optimistic about how he's been this offseason. He seems super different, but it's all going to come down to, you know, what they look like on the field.
Do you think that the Knicks' rise has provided some hope for fellow Jet fans like yourself, Paul?
I think there is a very fair argument to say that if you look at the past 20 years, the Knicks were more of a joke of an organization than the Jets were.
I don't even think it's debatable. Like the Jets were on the cusp of the Super Bowl twice, and they went to the playoffs 6 times the first 10 years of the 2000s, from 1997 to 2016. They never had back-to-back losing seasons. The Knicks, before Jalen Brunson, the 22 years prior, had the worst winning percentage in the NBA during that stretch. Like, there was the blip with Carmelo. They had the good 54-win season and made the playoffs a couple other times and did nothing. Like, there was nothing. At least the Jets were regularly going to the playoffs at one point and typically won at least a playoff game in a lot of those runs. The Knicks gave you nothing for so long.
Yeah, and so like if a team like the Knicks can actually figure it out, right? After all of that, I mean, why couldn't the Jets at some point? Like, it all comes down. I'm optimistic on Muji. He's done a lot of really good things. They've for the first time I can remember in recent memory. You're probably better at this than I am. The Jets have re-signed multiple draft picks prior to them being free agents. The Jets historically had not been doing that. and had been getting burned over and over and over again, either because they chose not to extend them and then they went out and became free agents, or the Jets' first-round draft picks were so bad there wasn't anybody even willing to, that they needed to extend. So for the first time in a long, long time, when we talk about this plan, you've got long-term position guys that have played well as first-round picks, or even guys like Tippmann who've now gotten extensions. I feel really good about the draft this year in what they did with their first 4 picks. Like, you know, it's undeniable to me that those first 4 picks are really good picks. It all comes down to, how does it all come together? Is AG the answer? And if not, does Muji get the swing at QB and head coach or not? But yes, you can have some optimism. I think about where I was with the Jets like a month and a half ago, and where I was tweeting the other night, and I was put something out there. I'm like, look, the Jets offseason, like Geno's been good at the podium and I didn't want him. And hey, Frank Reich seems really good. And hey, like, you know, I'm sitting there going, holy crap, is this just the Knicks' success rubbing off on how I feel right now? Because I haven't been that positive in a really long time.
Let's go, baby. You got to believe, all right? You got to believe after what the Knicks have provided the New York sport fan. Let's go. Hit it, Beningo.
If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you. New York, New York, Woo! New York, world champions.
Yeah.
Go Knicks. Go Knicks.
I mean, Aaron Glenn knows. Come on now. Let's go. I'm with you, Paul. But
yeah, I mean, Glenn, you know, he's saying all the right things. He was talking about what about the Knicks that he took away from, and I actually thought that his answer was a good one. It all still comes down to what is his ability as a head coach, and it was not good last year. Again, we want to give him some leeway. I struggle with what they look like the first half of the year before they blew it all up last year. Forget about how he was at the podium. Forget about all of that stuff. They did not seem good at all. They
weren't prepared. He looked over his head.
They didn't seem prepared. He seemed, his answers on fields and talking about how long he was holding on to the football. I mean, if you just go back to some of the stuff, it was bad. Like the Denver game and not understanding the distance to kick the field goal. There's just all those things. Just, that's a challenge. That's like a really, really difficult challenge for me to wrap my brain around. That suddenly flips to, hey, Aaron Glenn's going to lead us down the canyon of heroes one day. What I do know so far, based on what I've seen, is Darren Muji seems like he knows what he's doing. And Aaron Glenn has given himself the best chance he possibly could have this offseason to make it to year 3, because I think Frank Reich was a good hire. I didn't want Tanner to get fired, but in the grand scheme of things, bringing in Reich makes sense, right? Now the question is, how much growth does Glenn have as a head coach? And historically speaking, coaches that come off of a year that he had, there's very, very few of those guys that stay within that organization and become very good head coaches within the same organization. They oftentimes have gotten, there is historical precedence for guys getting fired, stepping down, and then getting another chance and becoming good in the future, but not necessarily, not a lot of history with guys that have been as bad as he was and then suddenly become a good head coach. It's just, I'm rooting for it because he's a Jet, but those things are just real. It's hard to take away that history and say you have full faith and confidence that Aaron Glenn's going to figure this out.
100%, because when they were trying to win, they started 0-7, and people were just bringing up the Brady Cook games, but they were 0-7, and his handpicked quarterback was Justin Fields, and he said, we're going to let him play quarterback. We're going to coach him up. He hired the worst staff in the NFL a year ago, minus Banjo. And look, he's getting a second chance, whether people like it or not. My positive spin on it is, if he's as bad as we think, okay, the Jets aren't going to be good, but we've seen that. We could go through one more painful year, knowing that I think there's some light at the end of the tunnel with the salary cap space, the 3 first-rounders, the roster that I think actually has some players on it. I think it's an attractive job. There will not be 10 openings in the NFL next year. Almost by default, legit coaches are going to have to seriously entertain the Jets. And I think if the Giants are good and Harbaugh's successful in year one, I think Woody's going to see that and maybe feel more inclined to actually hire a Tomlin or a McDermott, someone that's proven that could be, if you want to use the cross-sport comparison again, the Knicks brought in Thibodeau. He was a floor raiser, brought them back to respectability. I think maybe Woody could follow that blueprint and hire a guy who's done it before instead of these first-time coordinators, especially the defensive ones that are learning on the job. Like if I'm Woody, I'm sick and tired of hiring guys I'm paying millions of dollars to learn on my dime. I'm sick of it. Now, if you want to tell me they're going to hire the bright offensive guy a year from now to pair up with the young QB, all right, I'll listen to that. I think in a perfect world, Kevin O'Connell is this team's coach a year from now and someone who's proven on that side of the ball and has been a good overall coach. But I just think they need someone that is not learning on the job in the toughest place, I think, to learn on the job. Head coach in the New York market with the Jets and the stigma that is, this would now be a 16-year playoff drought. It is not for everyone. Like it takes someone very special to be able to handle all that.
Yeah, I mean, again, we know the history. I think that, the reality is if they win 5 or 6 games, I think there's a good chance he's probably not going to get a third season. I feel like 7 is like just be a competent bad football team is the benchmark kind of thing. And if you look
but it can't be 7 like what Gase did in his first year, where it's awful start, win games late. Like you got to be relevant throughout the year. You can't have 6 wins, I think, going into the Bills game. They're sitting their starters in week 18 and you finish 7-10.
Oh, I agree. And I think actually, if you look at it, I actually think the second half of their schedule after week 8 is really hard. So, do we get to a point where maybe they're 3-5 and we're like, oh, they don't look too bad. And all of a sudden they go through that gauntlet right after that. Cause there's kind of like this gauntlet after week 8 where I think it's 3 straight weeks, 3 or 4 straight weeks where they play a really good quarterback. Look, how good is or bad is the defense look? How prepared do they look? All of those things are really super relevant right now. But as far as what they do, if they fail and just if he's going to fire him, I wouldn't be surprised. Guys like Davis Webb, they seem like that would be the somebody they might target. They're going to go after a young quarterback. I don't know if Kevin O'Connell shakes free, maybe, but gosh. And I think someone in the chat said if AG wasn't a Jet, we would have tried to run him out of town previously. Look, it's interesting because the fan base, as all of us, are so torn on him. There are people that just that hate him, which I think is like, I don't get that. Like, he was a really good Jet. You can tell when he's there. Look, he had a lack of humility last year at the podium, which really made him unlikable to some extent. But this year, when he's talking about the team and he's talking about what he's hoping for and what they're trying to build, you hear him talk about, I think he said it, all he thinks about is trying to win. All he thinks about is trying to turn this organization around. He kind of eats, sleeps, and drinks it. I appreciate that he wants to be here and turn this around. I believe that he is a true Jet. So you root for that. That you still have to, as a fan, separate that versus the results you see on the field and look at it and go, what do you believe can happen? I just personally think the only way this works out for him is if Geno's better than what I think he might be, Reich is not washed, and maybe Sean Ryan is this, the next guru offensive coordinator. And the next thing you know, the Jets are a 7-win football team and it looks decent. I don't know. There's a lot of things that have to break right. And they actually have talent on the roster. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm like I said, the last couple of years at Rodgers took a lot out of me. I went into last year saying they were a 5-win team likely, and they went below my expectations. I have them as a 5 to 7-win team this year. Until they show me otherwise, I think that's where I'm at.
Hit the like button if you're joining us. A little Sunday special, Father's Day soiree, as they say. We're presented by PrizePicks. Paul, I've called it a must-win, so it's never too early to start looking at some odds for Week 1 in Nashville. The Asmaniacs will all be there. Geno Smith and Cam Ward's today's focus I put together a 2-pick power play with PrizePicks. You can make your own Jets Titans prize pick lineup by going to PrizePicks. Download the app, use that code HMA. But here we go. Geno's passing yard number is set at 199.5. Cam Ward's is set at 189.5. I'd go more on both these. I think both these quarterbacks are going to throw it. I don't trust the Jets secondary in their first game, so I think Cam Ward could easily eclipse 189.5 yards. And I think Geno will make some plays downfield. So I'm going more on both of these. What say you with the passing yards for both QBs?
Yeah, I think that's likely. I think both over for sure. Will Geno throw 2 picks, or will Geno be like, will it be Geno 250 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 picks? And they lose the game, or the yards passing. I think Geno's going to throw the football a lot. I mean, he's kind of who Geno is. He throws the ball downfield, so I think he's going to have the protection to do it. I think Tennessee's. Look, that's a weird organization. And, I never thought much of, I thought Saleh, had promise after year 1, and then it just didn't look right. I don't know how much he's learned since he was demoted and, fired, I should say. And now he's back as a head coach. I'm not overly optimistic on Tennessee. They went out and basically got a bunch of ex-Jets. And it seems like he's kind of redoing what he did, but it's a very winnable football game for the Jets. I think that I think they win that. I think they can win that game.
They better win that game.
Win that game.
They better win that game.
I know you have it as a must win, but
it gets ugly if they lose. I mean, you look at the Packers, then you got to play the Lions and Bears. Oh my, the next 3 after that, like you could be staring at 0-4 in the face.
Yeah, that would throw my 4-4 or 3-5 probably out the window, right? If, to your point, like I think they could be 3-5 or 4-4, but that somewhat hinges on beating Tennessee because I don't know, man. If they do lose to Tennessee, it could get ugly. It could.
If you can't beat Tennessee, why would I expect you to then beat any of those teams in the NFC North? I get it, things happen, but if you beat Tennessee, well then, okay, I could try and talk myself into, could we just win one of our next 3, and then we play the Browns, and the Jets could actually be 3-2 and give us a modicum of success and hope to have a season?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice. Look, I hope what Nick just said is true, because look, if they get to 3-1, I can't. Nick, you are like the most optimistic. He is. I got to give it to Nick. Nick is so optimistic. It's wild. Like he's just really he's so optimistic. I just can't get there until I see it on the field. I just can't. Like I see 1-3 more likely than 2-2 or 3-1.
I mean, 3-2 would be just insane. 3-1 would be insane. I mean, remember they started 3-2 the year that everyone thought they were tanking for Darnold. McCown had them at 3-2. Like, at least we had a month and change of like fun football. Like, give us that before you're just awful. They finished 5-11, but at least we had a season.
Well, even if you win the first game of the season, right? Let's just say you do win the first game and you lose the next 3. It's not. I mean, I'm not saying that that's good, but if you're 1-3 and I think then you play the Browns, right? Isn't it like there's a world where they have some winnable games after that? Like after week 1, the next 3 games are not easy. But if you lose week 1, then it can snowball. I don't want to make so much out of the first week of the season. I know you've said it. It's a must win, but I see why you say that. For me, it's like, man, this is such an interesting season. Last year I thought they were going to be bad. So I watched every minute of every game expecting them to be terrible. And when they started out 0-7, I wanted them to lose every damn game so we can get our quarterback. It's the first time I ever rooted for the tank. I've never been a tanker ever.
Even in 2020, when they started 0-4 that year, I was out.
I didn't. I remember I remember people like getting mad at me because I was like cheering for wins. Like I was always the fan that wanted to have optimism. And last year was the first year they had beaten me down so much that I was like, just lose every damn game. And I kind of fell in love with Mendoza. I was watching a ton of his games. I was like, I just loved the attitude, the mindset. And I'm like, we need that here. And it all blew up and they didn't get the pick. And I'm like, I just got to stop rooting for the tank. But it doesn't mean that all of a sudden I'm going to go into the green goggles rooting and believing that they're going to be a 10-win football team. I need to see this team show me that they are actually competent before I'm like, this is a competent organization and football team again.
Amen. Derek, the Kansas Jet fan, gifted a membership raffle at the end of the show. 5 items total. And when you enter today, Father's Day special, you'll be in next week's raffle. I could share that one of the prizes next week is already going to be a signed jersey by the man joining us at Gangrene Beach Club, Wayne Crabette. Some super chats I want to hit. Chuck wrote this in earlier. Then we get caught up on those, and then we'll maybe do a call or two with Paul before we say goodbye. Sorsby isn't that good, Jake. I'm a huge Big 12 guy, and he isn't special. Look, the opinions on him vary, just like the opinions vary on all quarterbacks. There were people convinced Fernando Mendoza wasn't very good the entire year, even though all he did was win the Heisman and then lead his team to a national title. We know quarterback play is subjective. Quarterback evaluation is subjective. If the Jets like Sorsby and want to bid on him, I'm okay with it within reason. You really got to sell me on the character of the kid because he's going to be put through a lot, and not too many backup or number 3 quarterbacks are going to be getting requested to have press conferences with the New York media. Like, that's all part of this evaluation.
Yeah, I agree. And look, it's fair. If you don't think he's good, then that's a fair point. Like, Amari and I went back and forth a little bit the other day about it because he's like, he's completely out on him, I think, right? And I'm like, Omari, if they think his talent is good enough, he's worth a 3rd-round pick, and if they believe that he's rehabilitated, and it was just a back and forth. Again, you can't your own personal evaluation of the guy. If you don't like him, then it is what it is, right? There's gonna be people that there are gonna be people that believe Cade Klubnik is going to become QB1 and solve all the Jets' problems before the end of the season. There are people that are watching this show or tweeting online that believe that. There are other people who were also saying Brady Cook could potentially be the answer last year when he got his chance. That's just the nature of us as fans. We root for that, right? We root for the underdog story. We want guys that we like to be successful. At the end of the day, it's a crapshoot. You just never freaking know. I just think the upside of Sorsby physically on the talent side is high. Doesn't mean he's going to work out. It could be a complete bust. He could be a complete character flawed loser. All of those things could be true. I don't know that. That's just the reality.
Super chats. Cut the line. Thank you to our guy, Kevin Zerwicker. Kevin was at the Knicks championship parade the other day. He says, I'm a Sorsby guy, but unless the Jets are convinced he's a franchise QB, I don't see them making a serious bid. It's been quiet, and I don't think the Jets want a lot of noise for a backup or 3rd string. Yeah, I agree with this. I know Samini wrote about this in his news story today. I think that's part of it. I think Darren Muji understands he's not under the gun to get a QB now. They're set up with Geno to try and see what you have roster-wise. Give Glenn a fair shot at proving he could be a competent coach with a competent quarterback. You can't blame, Justin Fields is the reason why it all went to crap. Like, Geno's a professional. And I think they're going to look at it like we're going to take our swing in 27 when we have another year of film on all these guys and can form a better evaluation.
Reasonable, right? I think that's the most likely reasonable expectation.
This one is from PBM, who says, how many 2nd rounders have we had that sucked? Take them. Again, and I understand that argument, but you're not just trying to light a pick on fire if you don't believe in the player. You got to believe in Sorsby. I don't know if Darren Muji has conviction in Brendan Sorsby. I think they like Klubnik. And I understand Klubnik's a day 3 pick, but they saw something in Klubnik to trade up for him. Like, so you could add Klubnik to your room, Sorsby. And when would Sorsby even play if you took him? That's the thing as well. They're going to stick with Geno, you'd think, for as long as possible.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think I don't know who I saw talk about this, but I saw something the other day, and they're like, look, if he's not suspended for any length of time, if it's only a couple weeks, having him in the building, practicing every week, learning the playbook, believe it or not, that if you have, like, there's a lot of people that will say, like the Chiefs did with Mahomes, right? He didn't play until the last week of the season. By the time he played that last week of the season, they knew Mahomes was going to be their guy, right? And it wasn't like, oh, he had a really good final week of the season. We're going, now we've decided. They based it on everything they saw during the year, right? So, like, to me, if whether it's Klubnik, Sorsby, doesn't matter. If they're in your building for the entirety of the season and in practice, they're lighting it up and they look good and they're great in the building and they've got the football IQ and all that, you could potentially make that call and decide that he's your guy. Like, I think that if you are an offensive coordinator, if your job is solely to make sure you're building your organization with a franchise quarterback, God, if you can't know after a full season whether this guy has the ability to be your franchise QB, you probably shouldn't be offensive coordinator.
That's fair. I guess my question is Frank Reich here next year, though, if the Jets are bad? Is Aaron, like, if Aaron,
No.
like, then you have a brand new coaching staff that's coming in that, like, what was their evaluation of Brendan Sorsby? How do they feel about him? Like, I'm not going to not take a QB in 27 if I'm bad enough to get one of the top guys because, like, oh, the previous coaching staff felt like if they were given the chance, Sorsby would have been ready. You know, that I just think it's so complicated from a Jet standpoint because the coaching staff's on the hot seat. If this was last year and where we felt like they had a grace period, then you could argue, yeah, you do it because they're not worried about their jobs just yet.
I get it. Again, a third-round pick, if he doesn't work out and Glenn is terrible and they fire the whole staff, I don't know. I think maybe I'm crazy. I don't think that's an indictment on Muji. I don't. I think he still gets the QB swing in 27. So, like, I'm not saying they should do it. I want to be very clear. I'm just saying I would explore the entirety of who he is as a person and a player before I made the decision.
Super chats, cut the line. Green Empire Lawn Care says, why are we settling on a 7-win team? We had 7 with Salah. I think they got to win at least 8 if Glenn's back. Now, they could win 7 and he's back if there's some nuance to the 7 wins. Like, how were they against division opponents? You know, did they get a surprise win that no one saw coming? Did they look better prepared? You know, is the reason why they only won 7 because Geno was playing well and then there was an injury and he unfortunately couldn't finish the year and they lost some tough games down the stretch because they had to start Klubnik or Zappi. Like, again, I'm reasonable in my nuanced assessment of, like, how many wins does this regime need to win to save the coaching part of it. But I think they got to win at least 8 or 9 games if Aaron Glenn's back.
Man, I think that's a high bar. I don't see it. We disagree. I think 7 and he gets I've
done the 7 so many times with Gase.
I know. I get it.
Come on.
Dude, I get it. They were so awful last year, this team. Like, I get that the Patriots made the leap. They have a franchise quarterback. Like, the Jets don't have, like, unless Geno pulls a rabbit out of his ass and he's suddenly Geno, comeback player of the year in Seattle and he throws for 4,030 touchdowns. I just don't see that. I'm not ready to say that. Listen, I will come on your show, admit I am wrong. I don't care. I'm trying to be realistic on what the expectation is. If you get me 7 wins and you look competent, I think that's reasonable to me.
Football guy says, I don't understand the hate on Glenn. It's only one season in rebuild mode. Do we think we looked pretty rebuilding and not a good team? See, there's too much, like, fanboy, like, justification in something like this. And thank you for the super chat, football guy. A quote-unquote hate on Glenn is he talked a big game, said things were going to be different under him. They'd clean up the penalties. The last 4 minutes of each half belonged to the coach. Guys were going to get better. Guys were going to be coached up. Remember the Will McDonald arrogance? Like, everything he said about Justin Fields, how we all knew Xavier Gibson shouldn't have been on the team. And sure enough, that's why they lost week 1 to the Steelers and Rodgers with that muff punt. Didn't know the game-winning field goal distance when they were in London. It was pissed that he was asked about benching Justin Fields in that game, and then a week later he benches Fields at halftime against the Panthers. There was just a lot of, this guy might not know what he's doing. His coaching staff hires were atrocious. That's why he fired over 50% of his staff. There was a lot to say this guy was hot garbage in year 1. Now, he's a former Jet. I think he truly wants to turn things around. Woody loves him, and he's here, so I'm rooting for his success to prove me and many who don't believe in him wrong. But I don't think it's hating on Glenn to say 1 year in, he looked as bad as any first-year coaches you're going to see in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, so this is the interesting thing. People, like, have amnesia on the first 7 games. It's like they look at it and go, well, they're a rebuild. What did you expect? they tore the whole thing down. They tore it down after they started 0-7. Glenn came in here telling people that they were expecting to win, right? Glenn was the one that wanted Justin Fields as his quarterback. Like, it was reported that he wanted Fields. Like, there was a disagreement between him and Muji on who the quarterback was going to be. I remember the entirety of that story. Muji was the one that wanted to bring back Rodgers. Glenn wanted him gone. They wanted Fields. I'm not saying it was wrong to take a swing, but like, if you take the entirety of, you hired the defensive coordinator who was awful, right? You try to run a mishmash of a system that didn't work. It didn't fit the players you had. You did not have humility on the podium. Your team looked unprepared. And with the talent you had, you were 0-7, and you were on your way to being awful. And then you blow it all up. So you have the excuse of saying, well, of course we only won 3 games, but that's just revisionist history on this. He was objectively bad before they decided to give up. Like, they threw in the towel on the season, which was the right thing to do. But it's just the reality of the decisions that were made is why we don't. And again, I like Aaron Glenn. Like, it's so crazy. Like, people like, well, if you want him fired, you've got this agenda. There's no agenda. I want Aaron. I didn't want him to be hired when they hired him. I wanted somebody who had experience, just because it's such a mother of a job. But, he's here now. He's getting a second season. He's got talent enough to at least be competent. Let's see what happens. I am willing to get all that to the point of next year and saying, okay, he deserves a third season. Or I think we'll know 8 games through the season whether he deserves to continue or not. I really do. I think he's going to get the full year. I'll be clear. But I think halfway through next year, we're going to know, is Aaron Glenn getting a year 3 or not? I think we will know that. I just do. Because I think a team can't be 2-6 or 1-7. And I get that this happened with Dan Campbell. He was able to turn around the Lions. Everyone likes to point to one historical reference as the precedent for Aaron Glenn. It's one reference in all of the years of football. If they are 1-7 or 2-6 after 8 games, I think that it's very clear he's not going to be a head coach in year 3. Now, if they're 3-5, 4-4, you still have time to let that play itself out. That's just the way I think. And it's funny. I saw somebody in the chat say, I'm going to be like the next Stephen A. Let me be very clear. Stephen A actually gave up his Knicks fandom at one point. I have never, ever, ever, ever done that. I will never root for another team other than the Jets. So there's a very big difference. It's like Michael Rappaport wearing a freaking Brooklyn Nets jersey.
Fraud.
And then trying to claim he's like a huge Knicks fan. Give me a break. Like, give me a break.
Kevin Tattoos is on drugs because he wrote in. You're going to know for sure AG's coming back when the Jets finish 10-7. Kevin, I hope you're right. And please let us know what type of drugs you're using this morning on the show. There's a man on the line who you know well, Paul. I hope he'll be our first caller because you two vehemently disagree on Brendan Sorsby. Nicholas Shine joins us. Hello, Nick.
There he is.
How are you, gentlemen?
What's up, Nick?
Hey, so I've been very adamant about this with Sorsby, right? But I want to get to the Jets and Geno after this. So with Sorsby, I can't take an addict of any kind at quarterback. I'm an addict myself. Your mind wanders. Your mind's not focused. There's times where you drift, no matter what the addiction is. I need my quarterback fixated on football 100% of the time. So that's number one. Number two, I don't think we've shown we have the structure to bring in a quarterback and take a gamble on him, pun intended, professional right there. Now, I love that the report is that they're not in on it. Like, you drafted Klubnik, see what you got, and then you go in for 27. We don't have this. Jake, you and I spoke about this yesterday on the phone. There's no drama with the Jets. There's no off-the-field nonsense. This would create a circus with media, with fans, and Muji is not operating that way. I strongly disagree with BT because I don't think this is a route Muji wants to go. It doesn't fit the character and the ideology of what they're building and what they're looking for in the guys that they're bringing in. I wish them well, but Jake, like you said earlier, There's teams that have a structure, an Andy Reid, a Shanahan, LaFleur's, teams that can bring in and bench and wait and see and maybe push them down the road to somebody else after they develop them and mentor them. I just don't think that the Jets are there for that. Now, with the Jets winning, look at the talent that we have. I think we all agree, right, that our weapons are significantly upgraded, and this is going to be the best cast of weapons we've had in a very, very long time. If Geno averages what he's done the last 4 years with completion percentage, all of these guys can catch and run. All of these guys are going to be out in the open field. If he's throwing between 66 and 68% completion percentage, we're going to move the damn ball. The offensive line was giving Justin Fields last year 3.5, 3.7 seconds to throw. The ball is going to come out with Geno. We know that. Now you have guys who can catch and run and get to all levels of the field. You can't cover them all. The way the rules are in the NFL right now, it's to have a team with the speed like we do and the mismatches that we do where you can succeed. So I am very big on pushing for a wild card. If this team stays healthy, which we know is important, I think that if in a best case scenario, we can be in the hunt. And after that bye week, I think we have some winnable games. We play the Broncos very well year after year. The Arizona trip out west does worry me. We never play well when we go out west. But I think that they can be in it late. And if things go right and if things are good, you can look at 8, maybe 9 wins. But with keeping Glenn going forward, I'm looking at the losses. I can be 7-10, but those 10, you were in 8 out of the 10 with 3 minutes left in the game. You were in it.
Did we lose him?
Oh, no.
No, too much optimism. See, StreamYard even knew that was ridiculous. But
yeah,
look,
but here I was going to just say, like, I wanted to say this to Nick because I love Nick and first of all, his point on Sorsby, again, I can't speak to that, right? So that's why I continue to say the same thing. Either you like him or you don't as a person and character. And if you don't, then and the Jets don't want him. I fully understand that. I get it. I'm just telling you what I think from a football ability. The Jets on the talent basis, here's my counter on Nick. I hope he can get back on. I don't agree that the Jets' talent this year is better than the year that Rodgers was here and they won 5 games. And so that's my issue. The Jets had a 5-win season, and you had Adams, Wilson. You had talent on offense. You had Breece Hall. You had Rodgers, who statistically was fine. Their defense was awful. They won 5 games. So, like, to me, if Glenn is not a good defensive head coach and that defense is ill-prepared, you might wind up with another Rodgers season, which is what we saw when the Jets won 5 games and they lost how many games because of their defense, how many games because of their kicker. Oh, by the way, they don't have a kicker at all right now. So, like, those are the issues that I can't go there and say this is a wild card team when I literally saw that type of team with the Jets and Rodgers as last year.
Just note to everybody, don't keep your phone on the dashboard. It will overheat if the sun's coming in the front. My fault. Sorry about that.
There was too much optimism, Nick. That was the problem.
Sorry about my dogs, by the way. They saw a mailman and went crazy.
That's how hot my takes are, Asman. It shuts the damn phone down, brother. So
look,
yeah,
I hope you're right, but I go ahead, Nick.
I think that if you have Geno getting the ball out, I think we all know we have a very good young tandem at tight end who create mismatches. They will open up the middle of the field. Swing passes to Breece Hall, Breece being a mismatch. I think we're going to see that. Our wide receivers being able to get downfield. Aerial attack, that's not checks at the line and bubble screens to Garrett Wilson. That's not his game. We're going to see Garrett getting the ball 12 to 18 yards downfield where it's a catch when he beats the corner and it's one guy to beat, instead of getting the ball 3 yards off the line of scrimmage and having a DN, middle linebacker, corner, and safety coming at him. It's going to be a down the field passing attack. And I think if you look at the speed of the people that we put together, it has the potential to be an explosive offense. Now, do they have to prove it? Yes. Is it a given? No. But if all things come together and Geno's completing 67, 68% of his passes with these weapons, we're going to be able to move the ball, have explosive plays, and put points on the damn board. Something
What about the
we haven't
defense,
done.
though? Glenn taking over
you
the
want to talk?
defense.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Great question, Jake. That's why you're the best. This D-line is going to open up a lot of things. This is going to be a D-line that we haven't seen in a while. We got power. We got speed. We're going to be able to stop the run. We're going to put the opposition in longer third down conversions, which plays to McDonald and Bailey. I know you mentioned McDonald before, but if you look at the games that we were close in, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Will McDonald was a difference maker in the fourth quarter and got his sacks in games where we were competing because the team wasn't up by 30 points against us, and they didn't have to pass the ball for the last 2 quarters, which we saw in several games. A 30-point lead will neutralize your pass rush, right? It's just not effective. But being in a close game, it's gonna be complementary football. The special teams is elite. We know that. The offense is putting up points, and the defense can stop the run. You're gonna have longer third down conversions, which plays to Bailey and McDonald teeing off and racing to the quarterback. You want a hot take? 20 sacks combined between McDonald and Bailey this year.
So Nick, I listen. If everything works out, that would be the first time it's all worked out. I don't remember the last season it all worked out for the Jets, right? And again, I'm not
in 15 until Fitzpatrick played.
Well, it didn't work out because they lost, right? They didn't make the playoffs.
It worked out until he played catch with 4 of the Buffalo defenders.
My whole thing is the 2 positions that matter the most in the NFL are quarterback and head coach, right? Okay. And if you look at the 17-game schedule, how many games do the Jets have the advantage at quarterback and head coach going into those games?
Not many, but that's based off the past. I'm doing projectionary thoughts, not just based off. Like I said, completion percentage is huge, and you have weapons who can break tackles, get downfield, and be explosive. That changes the narrative. A lot of people with the Jets, have the wait and see, the media, fans. I haven't seen it yet. All right, well, get back to me when we start seeing it.
Well, that's fair. I mean, but I don't think it's wrong as we fan how we fan. I don't think we should go into a season hoping that they're awful. Like I'm trying to be more in the realistic, what can I expect and hope for better kind of mindset. And so I think a lot has to happen for this team to win 10 games, like a lot.
Agreed. And I list a lot, right? And I see Yo Holmes saying it's hopium. It's not hopium. I'm giving you football analysis on why they can do it. I'm not just sitting here saying, man, the Jets are going to win 10. Why? I don't know. I gave you fact after fact after fact where they're improved. Stopping the run, longer third down conversions, 2 elite speed rushers that are going to be like teeing off. The Sweat, Briggs in the middle, collapsing the pocket, allowing these guys to get around the edge. It's going to make the defense better. Do we have questions on the defense? Sure. Can we be exposed in certain things if the pass rush gets neutralized? Sure. Offensively, Geno's got questions. We know that. There's many questions around the Jets, but I'm going to choose to look at it and say, if Geno's completing 68% and we're swing passing it to Brees and we're getting the tight ends up the middle of the field, and now it's opening Garrett to be one-on-one because the safeties have to worry about Brees Hall in the flat or Sadiq up the seam, and now you worry about that. Oh, we're going to dump one off on the other flat to Taylor, who's wide open, who can turn it upfield. There's layers to this that can equal success. That's not hopium. That's football analysis.
Yeah, but that football analysis comes with your defensive coordinator being good at his job.
That's fair.
And not being out game planned and schemed during the game. And being the head coach. It comes with Geno improving from where he was the last 2 years, in my mind. And again, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying it's not what I'm expecting to happen. That's all.
That's fair.
That's also relying on all these draft picks to hit right away, which how often the teams hit on their first 4 picks in a draft. It's hard. And it's just, they could. I like what they did, but like we're all optimistic now on certain players, but we were optimistic about Malachi Corley once upon a time, or Elijah Moore, or it takes guys also staying. It's just you're asking for a lot when you have I'll be kind to Glenn, a major question mark at head coach. And while I like Geno and think he's an upgrade over what they had, he's still a guy that's thrown 32 interceptions the last 2 years, which leads the league.
Yeah, like think about it this way, Nick. Did we believe that in 2024, when they fired Saleh, right, which I think at the time they fired him was a bad decision, but let's just say they fired him.
That's fair.
And then they made the decision to remove him. That did we think that that our DC was going to be as overwhelmed as he was as a head coach? Because he objectively became worse as a DC.
Yeah.
Right. Once he became the head coach.
Yeah, he didn't know how to divvy up his responsibilities. It was bad. They threw him into the fire, and they threw him into the deep end, and he sunk. He couldn't swim in that role.
And so the question is Glenn more like Ulbrich, or is he capable of elevating himself?
Now,
overall?
I think with having Frank Reich there is really good, because you got a guy who's been a head coach, and you got a guy that you can lean on, and you don't have to worry about being a young guy that you have to oversee. Glenn can say to Reich, you run the offense, I'll run the defense. We will convene during the game. You have a guy who is a veteran quarterback, so I think the clock management will be better with Reich and Geno out there. I think there's a lot of things that are going to get improved. Granted, there's a lot of, and listen, I don't expect everyone to look at it the way I do. I realize that. But I think if you look at the things that I mentioned, if they come together, our weapons, their ability to get open, I think that the talent can help mask some of, not all, of the deficiencies that we might have with coaching. If we're elite stopping the run, and you brought in these guys to stop the run, now it's complementary defense within itself, because now you got your pass rushers to go after the quarterback. I don't love the cornerback room.
No.
But I think that having this pass rush and having these bodies that we can send out there, if we're stopping the run, we can help the back end. It's the chicken and the egg, which came first. Now you have an elite pass rush. Does it help the back end? And if not, you can add to that, right? You bring in Minka, you bring in Pons. You need to make that room better back there, that whole group. So there's a lot of layers to this. I get that. I don't expect all of them to come together, but I think there's going to be times throughout the season where we see it click and we can say, hey, you know what? They need to add a couple more pieces, but there is something here. We're getting momentum. We're going in the right direction. We're competitive with 5 minutes left in the game in the majority of our games. If you're down 35-3 or 35-0 like it was to New England last year, yeah, he's going to be gone. No question. I'll be saying it, but there's reason to believe, and there's reason to be optimistic that we're going to see competitive football week to week and late in the season. And I think that's a tremendous jump from year 1 to year 2 with what we saw last year, some of the worst football ever, the worst football ever in December. So keep building it, keep bringing in the right guys. And remember, whenever you are dominant in the trenches, you have a chance. If you can dominate with your offensive line, you have a chance every week. If you can dominate with your defensive line, you have a chance every week. And I think they put a lot of effort into those two position groups to have a chance until they can build everything around it. The quarterback on offense, the back end on defense. So I love the discussion. I've been out here working in the soccer games. I needed a break. I needed to get out of the sun for a little bit. Gentlemen, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you both.
The Gun Show, Nick Shine. And by the way, Nick Shine's got Ken O'Brien on his YouTube channel, I believe, next week. So stick around for that. Cisco goes, happy to see Nick Shine and his guns on Jake Asman with a positive outlook. Look, it's June. Be positive. I try to be realistic, though. That's my big things. But I hope Nick's right. I hope the Jets win 10 games and they're in the playoffs and Aaron Glenn's the coach of the year. And he could say, Jake Asman, you suck for doubting me, and I'll take it like a man.
Well, look, again, I what did I say? I said they can win 7 games. Some people might think that I'm high saying they're going to win 7 games. You see the most negative people thinking they're going to win 3, right? So, like, to me, I'm kind of in the middle where I say 7. And I think that's certain things breaking right to win 7, And so if everything goes the way Nick wants it to go, then sure. I'm just look. The good things for the Jets, Carl Dunbar was a great hire, bringing him in, right? So AG's got that. We'll see. Reich might turn out to be a really good hire. Rex's kid might turn out to be a really good hire. We don't know. But again, I'm just not in a place today as a 52-year-old fan who's been through hell with this team, as many on this fan base have, to get there today. And it's not, again, any other reason than I've done it too many years. I just need to see it on the field. Doesn't mean I'm going into the season expecting it to be a complete dump, but I'm not buying playoff tickets at this point.
Lou B says, Paul, wild card, say it 3 times. Green Bean Island.
I mean, it would be unbelievable. I mean, it would be the greatest thing if that could happen. I said it to Nick, and it's hard. Like you go through that schedule and you say, how many games are they going to be the advantage at head coach and the advantage at quarterback? That's the hard part for me.
Not great, but I'll tell you what, Paul, your appearance today, that was great. Thanks for hopping on. Happy Father's Day to you. And this was a lot of fun. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks. Take care, everybody.
Paul Fiore with us, Jet Talk Now. Search that on YouTube and make sure you subscribe. We got time for a couple calls if everyone wants in. Plus, the raffle is coming up. It's 2 for the price of 1. You'll be in next week's raffle, which will already feature a Wayne Corbett signed jersey. And if you want a shot to win, there's not a ton of weekly entries because we didn't do Friday because I did 4 hours of radio in the afternoon. So you got great odds to win if you enter even right now. Garrett Wilson signed helmet, Joe Klecko signed helmet, Darrell Rivas signed end zone pylon, 2 tickets for Gangrene Beach Club, and a Jalen Brunson or Nick player of your choosing NBA Finals patch jersey. Derek, the Kansas Jet fan, just gifted a membership. Derek, again, in the raffle for 1. I've begun to count the names, so last chance to get in on the show if you want to call in or enter the Asmaniac raffle. Right now, what we're going to do is hear from a man who just gifted that membership. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
He's the brother man, Kansas dude who loves the Jets. He's the brother man, you can't be more polite and chat. He's the brother man, they call him Derek and he's totally cool. He's the brother man, he's Derek, the Kansas Jets fan.
Jake.
What's up, Derek?
Not much, brother man. Hey, congrats on the Knicks, dude. I seen the videos that you was posting from the parade. That looked like an absolutely epic and awesome atmosphere, dude.
It was so much fun, and who knows when the next one will ever be. So great to be there, and it's crazy, man. It's already been a week, and it doesn't feel real that they won the whole thing.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, cherish it forever, my friend. Yeah, hopefully some of that like good juju will like rub off on the Jets, because I think like even if the Jets have even like, I don't know, we haven't won more than 7 games in a decade, right? So I feel like, I don't know, you win 8 or 9, I'd almost be elated. I thought you and Paul was making some very good points. I love AG. He's our head coach, so I'm going to pull for him, right? But I love that when you said that there's a lot of nuance to when it goes to how many games that we win, like in the time that we win. Last year, 78 games ended in a field goal or less. That's an NFL record. So, like, 5 of our first 7 games we lost by 1 possession or less, 8 points or less. I just feel like even if I don't know, so I want us to get like pulling in the same direction with AG, but there's a lot of daunting statistics from last year. Only team in NFL history to not have an interception. Lose 5 straight games by 23 plus. I feel like if those last 5 games go differently, like the defense just, they weren't in it at all, man. And at some point, like, I don't know, we're going to find out really quick, at least, with how AG can coach a defense coming into next year. I feel like all the skepticism and criticism is completely fair with AG, just because of the way that the season ended. But I legit think, hope this isn't too hot of a take, I think this is going to be one of the best defensive rotational fronts that we've seen in quite some time. I love the addition of Joseph Asai. I love the addition of Enagbari and Oyamada. I've only seen the first episode of Flight 26, but I love when they were interviewing all the guys. It seems like there's a different just energy around the building that a lot of these guys were exuding. And I don't know, man. with every team being 0-0 right now, and I know it's just Jets talk in June, which is some of my favorite. I can do Jets talk anytime, but like I just the energy around the building seems different, and I'm really hoping. I've seen was it, I can't remember who posted it, but it was talking about like if AG and Darren Muji are like tied at the hip. I'm not so sure that they are, and I think even if you're Woody Johnson, in my opinion, like sorry Woody if you're listening, probably one of the worst owners in the entire NFL, just in terms of the last decade. I don't think he's bad overall. What, 6 playoffs in the first 10 years he was here? It's so hard to find that good quarterback and head coach, but we have the offensive line. Like my biggest question coming into this offseason was the safety room, and now like I feel pretty good about Belton and Nashawn Wright and Minka Fitzpatrick at the safety. I feel like we got a lot of veteran leadership this year. Like Demario Davis is going to put Jamie and Sherwood into position to succeed. Now, if Davis goes down or any linebacker, like I'm worried about the depth at linebacker. But outside of that, I feel like this is one of the best rosters that we've seen in quite some time. I really think that Breece Hall and Braylon is in a contract year, same as A.D. Mitchell. I really think under Frank Reich, who might be our best offensive coordinator since I can remember, honestly, I think we have the weapons on offense. It's just, do I trust the defense, to you and Paul's point? Like, I'm not for sure what the defense can do. But we were competitive almost half the year last year, 2 or 3 points or more. I just want to say that I definitely get everybody's skepticism on head coach, because the quarterback and head coach is the most important thing in the NFL. I feel so freaking bad that we did not land Mike Vrabel, dude. We almost had him in the building, and Robert Kraft was like, nah, and he signed him. And then I'm not sure if Drake May's that good of a quarterback. He's definitely like really solid. I got to see one more year from it. So I don't know if we win the division because Josh Allen's in it, but every team's 0-0 right now, man. And, you know, I mean, I'm intrigued to see which players that we can add before training camp. Who would you like to add prior to training camp, brother man?
Derek, great call. Love the Omar Cooper Jr. jersey, the Derek one that he was rocking there. Look, I would like to see them add some linebacker depth. Matt Milano's still out there. Bobby Okereke is still out there. As much as I love Demario Davis, what if he's injured? Or he's not as good as he's been? He's 37. Can we add another linebacker so we just have another respectable body in that room? That's what I would do. But Derek's call is fair. If you want to be optimistic, you could find reasons to from a roster standpoint. But we've seen the Jets have some talented rosters, and the coaching holds them back. I think they've improved at quarterback, which is most important, significantly. And look, they have at least allowed Glenn to be evaluated, I think, fairly. Like, no one could say they don't have enough talent if you're going to try and excuse Aaron Glenn's performance if this team is terrible. Like, the roster is good enough to be competing for a wild card. Not that you have to be a playoff team. You shouldn't be guaranteed, but you shouldn't be awful. You shouldn't be a 3 or 4 win team. You should be able to start 4-4. You should be able to be mathematically alive going into Thanksgiving. That's what most teams around the league do. Very few teams are just out of it right away. It's made last year so disappointing. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, man. And if they're as bad as some think they're going to be, then you know what? They're set up, I think, nicely to get a big coach and have the resources to surround the team with what they need to be successful. Last call for raffle entries. We had a bunch that came in during that call from Derek. Ozzie Fullers is in the house. He is in for one.
Go Knicks. Go Knicks.
Oh, yeah. How about this from Black Gypsy? Black Gypsy gifting 5. Mr. Gypsy, your Knicks swag will be on its way this week. Hit it.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who? We got some dogs on this team, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, Black Gypsy in for 5. Our guy Ted checking in with a 10 spot of channel memberships. Oh, baby.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
It's getting crazy now, folks. It is getting crazy. Ted, thank you. Let's go.
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go.
if you're one of the 10 who got a membership from Ted, say thank you, Ted. I would check, but I'm not in my usual setup, so I don't want to take a risk that the StreamYard for the broadcast could screw me up. So if you got one from Ted, say thank you. Nick Shine in the raffle for another 2. Says thanks for having me on, Jake. The Guns are stealing the show at the beach party. Go Jets 9-8. Meet you, Lou B, and many others at the wild card game is going to be epic. I don't care where that game is played. If the Jets are in the playoffs, we will be there. There's no doubt.
J-E-T-S. Jess. All right, let's go.
And we're bringing the dream with us as well. Shout out to Genergy, huge Knicks fan. She writes in, Happy Father's Day. Special shout out to Jake and Nick Shine for my Knicks swag collection. See you in AC with my girl, Cynthia, 4% takeover. The baddies are back. Let's go. We got Genergy coming down to Gangrene Beach Club. Oh, yeah.
Hey, go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go!
Again, for those just tuning in or missed the announcement the last few days, Wayne Corbett is joining us at Gangrene Beach Club. He is our special player guest. He will be there alongside the following Jets content creators, reporters, and superfans. Myself, Samini, Brandon Tierney, Fireman Ed, Connor Hughes, Antoine Staley, Costello, Ryan Sampson, Zach Rosenblatt, Will Parkinson, Frankie V, Omari Brown, Matt O'Leary, Green Bean, Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7, Richie from Jets Media, Robbie Sabo, Dom C, Joe Blewett, Nick Faria, Boy Green, Bree Martinez, Nick Shine, Tyson Rouch, and many, many more. Let's go. Shout out to John LG in the house. John in the Asmaniac raffle for 1.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
Oh, they're getting crazy. All right, John. They are getting crazy. All right. I'm going to finish counting all these names. There's one man currently on hold right now that wants in on the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, we say hello to him right now.
Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. It's a chocolatey taste that'll make your day. Wherever you go, you hear the people say, give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that. Break me off a piece of that. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Happy Father's Day, Beast.
Hey, now that's what you call a classic commercial. And happy Father's Day to you too there, Chiefy. And remember, do you remember this old saying? Where's the Chief? 99. Yeah, did you ever hear that one?
No.
Watch Repossessed. Linda Blair, Leslie Nielsen, Ned Beatty, and Jesse Ventura and Mean Gene Oakland are in that one. But Linda Blair goes, next, I'm going to grab a wrestler by his neck, suck out his eyeballs, and spit out his throat. What did she say? I think she's talking to you, Gene. That's
also,
a good.
Beast, are you aware that it's preseason, not P-season, as it says underneath your name there?
Don't worry. Yeah, it's just a little tired. That's why. And got some goofy weather coming, but it's Father's
What's on
Day.
the agenda today?
I'm staying indoors. We're supposed to get heavy rain showers today. That's good because it's good for the tomato plants. It's good for the peppers, and it's also good for the zucchini. I'm gonna be getting very soon. Now, do you remember last year's zucchini? The 50-foot intercontinental missile that I had. That thing was a missile. If I ever got a chance to send that to Korea, Korea would have been like, hey, watch it, wait, big missile, hi, let's go to another caller, because I feel like
You're the only caller, though. I have no one to go to.
Oh, so what do you see this year? Let's see. For 3 weeks, that string of the cheese video has been hot. The Knicks won a world championship. That's a good sign of relief. The Mets are still tanking, as always. And
they just suck. That's the problem.
You mean that kind of suck?
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
You mean yeah, well, you want to throw up and you go, he stinks. This guy is horrible. That's why you want to do one of these and go,
Have you been stringing the cheese of late?
Oh, no. I'm just working on my Beetlejuice and going, you want the losers? You're talking to a professional around here. Yeah. 97 model. Wah, wah. Beetlejuice, my friends. That's a great quote. I think we're going to be just fine. And remember,
You know what else
folks,
is a great quote?
new video, string in the cheese, please. String in the cheese.
Holy shit, ass maniacs. You know what time it is? Time to get to that beef static and string some cheese. Oh, yeah! Come on! The Jets win the offseason. That's got me stringing the cheese. The Knicks comeback breaks records. That's got me stringing the cheese. The Yankees crush the Red Sox. That's got me stringing the cheese. When Cisco send gift memberships. That's got me stringing the cheese. Oh, stringing the cheese make me happy. My stringing the cheese might look messy, but cleanup is a pleasure after a damn good string in the cheese. Oh, yeah! Oh. The Jets could make the playoffs. That's got me stringing the cheese. The Knicks might be finals champions. That's got me stringing the cheese. Oh, the Yankees chasing 28. That's got me stringing the cheese. When Mimosa sends a super chat. That's got me stringing the cheese. Oh, stringing the cheese make me happy. My stringing the cheese might look messy, but cleanup is a pleasure after a damn good stringing the cheese. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm stringing the cheese.
Stringing the cheese. Yeah. That feels good. That's pulp. Now, let's get back to that. Let's get ready. Let's put some more on fire, shall we? What do you need? You know I'm not in a good mood today. I already took a diarrhea dump, and my back's killing me. Does anybody else need anything?
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hopefully you're stringing the cheese today. Tom Roseman gifted a membership during that ordeal. Tom, thank you. You're in for one. Raffle's coming up shortly, right after this. If you got the membership from Tom, make sure that you thank him. All right. I am copying and pasting the remaining names from today's show. We got 5 items to raffle away as part of the Asmaniac Weekly Raffle. Are we ready to spin the Wheel of Champions, to bring on the master of raffle ceremony to send us to that Wheel of Champions? Ladies and gentlemen, we say hello to this sexy man.
Tweet. Stringing the cheese. Hey, it's Frank Footstone, and I'm Barney Rubble. You know who we are. We're from the Footstones, and we got our 2 lovely ladies that are going to bring the wheel over. Now we're going to get a winner. Let's spin some winners. And Barney, don't touch our bowling balls. Well, I'm not going to do it, Fred. Well, okay, Barney, you sure know what you're doing. I trust you, the Fred. Oh, thanks, Fred. Oh, now, Fred, go to the wheel, go spin. Oh, now, Barney's going to let me go spin the wheel, and we're going to take it from here. At 3, 2, 1, and let's say Slate Construction Company take it home.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac Raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Oh, that was epic. Before we spin the wheel, let me shout out Black Gypsy, who at the buzzer here snuck one more entry in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Black Gypsy. And now it's time for the Wheel of Champions. Hit the music. All right, here we go. Weekly raffle. If you win, You have to email me to claim your prize, asmanjake@gmail.com. If you win the Knicks jersey, you got to tell me your size and the player you want. And if you want it in white or blue for the jersey as well. So, we'll start with that Knicks jersey. NBA Finals Knicks jersey. Could pick Brunson or your Knick player of choosing. Again, we got 5 this week, so here we go. All the names throughout the week have been compiled. Good luck to all. You can only win 1 weekly prize per raffle. Here we go. Our first winner this week is Mimosa. How about that? Mimosa doing great with Knicks-related swag. She won a Knicks NBA Finals hat, and now she's got a Jalen Brunson, or player of her choosing, Knicks Finals jersey to go with it. All right, Mimosa's our first winner. Incredibly well-deserved. Let me remove Mimosa's name now from the wheel, and we will spin again. Our next prize in the weekly raffle is 2 tickets to Gang Green Beach Club. Now, if you can't go, if you win, we could reuse the tickets for a future giveaway, and I will send you something from my merch store instead if you can't make it to Gang Green Beach Club. If you can make it, great. You got 2 tickets for you and whoever you want to bring to our event next month in Atlantic City. All right, let's get the Wheel of Champions back on the screen. Here we go. 2 tickets, the Gang Green Beach Club. The winner is Football Guy 2308. Congratulations, Football Guy 2308. I believe Football Guy 2308 entered during this very show, and he got himself free tickets to our event featuring Wayne Crabette next month in Atlantic City. Congratulations to Football Guy. All right, here we go. We have still plenty of prizes to raffle away. This next one is really cool. It's a signed end zone pylon by the great Darrell Revis. That's right, Revis Island end zone pylon. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, bring the wheel back up on the screen. Shuffle the names one last time. The winner is B. Waynen. B. Waynen. Congratulations. You are the winner of this, the Darrell Revis end zone pylon, which looks great in any man cave. Put it on a display shelf. I have a Corvette one I bought for myself that is on my mantle of sports memorabilia in my apartment. So congratulations to B. Waynen, which means we still got 2 prizes. 2 signed helmets are left in the raffle. This one is signed by one of the great Jets ever, Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Klecko, number 73 on the field, number 1 in your hearts. All right, here we go. Let's get the Wheel of Champions back up on the screen. Let's shuffle the names again. The winner of a Joe Klecko autographed helmet is Candyman. The Candyman can. The Candyman can. Congratulations to the Candyman on the Joe Klecko signed helmet, which means 1 prize left in the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Our grand prize this week is a signed helmet by number 5 on your New York Jets. Future All-Pro, that's right, wide receiver Garrett Wilson. G5, our final winner in this week's raffle is about to be announced. Let's put the Wheel of Champions back up on the screen. Let's shuffle all the names. Here we go. The winner of the Garrett Wilson signed helmet, our final prize is Mike DeRamo. Mike wrote, I wish. Guess what, Mike? Your dreams have come true. Mike DeRamo, the winner of a Garrett Wilson signed helmet. Shout out to Mike. I saw Mike at the parade on Thursday. He came to American Whiskey afterwards with his daughter, Carly. So we all had a great time together, and Mike is now adding a G5 helmet to his collection. He won a Joe Namath signed helmet on the show in a raffle a couple months back, whenever that was. So now you can add a G5 helmet to the collection, Mike. So congratulations. Congrats to all our winners. This is for all of you who won a prize. Let's go. This week, we're going to start getting a head count on people who want to join us for our meetup for the Dolphins game at home on October 25th. So stay tuned for that. Please join the Patreon so you don't miss an announcement if you can't watch the show this week. I know life gets in the way. I'll post in the Discord the RSVP link for those of you who want to secure your spot. We'll have all that this week. It's going to be $150. You'll be able to sit or go on the field after the game like we did last year, all in the same section in the lower bowl. Great seats, Jets, Dolphins, winnable game, division opponent. We need it. Let's go. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. I want to thank our guest, Paul Fiore, for hopping on. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. My dad's the reason why I'm a Jet fan, so you can thank him for this show indirectly. On that note, that does it for me. I will be back with you guys tomorrow. We'll have a full week of content coming your way on the channel as we try and bridge the gap from now until the start of Jets training camp at the end of July. Again, congrats to our raffle winners. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Let's go, Knicks. World champions. Don't you dare forget it. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your Sunday, and we will see you soon. Hit it, Mike Brown.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Don't leave. Who let the dogs out? Don't leave.
Yeah, we are the champions. Me and my friends from New York, we love the Knicks.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.